Now, for this, I showed you, we're making apple core. I'm doing mine as a table runner, okay, and I'm going to be using a die and a die cutter. Now, this is Sizzix, a Sizzix die that I'm using. Deborah is also making this, and she's doing hers in Halloween fabrics, and she's using an ACOquilt Go die. There's about half an inch, I think, between them. They're about, about the same size. There's a photograph on the back, so you can see what I'm talking about when I say apple core. But the actual die is from there to there, and the inner bit from there. You can't see it because it's all black, and the die is within that this foam. So the next thing I do is, I know that from that corner of the apple core to there is 5 inches, so I cut a strip of material from my stash that I'm going to use, and then I've cut this at 5.5 inches. Alright, so then I just fan fold, so making sure that I am covering the die, obviously. So just fan fold it back and forth. Over the die. Alright. So back and forth, and then we're going to have a little bit that's going to hang over, and that's fine. So just make sure that I am covering the die, which I am, yeah. And then I put my, let me turn my embosser on, then I put my top plate on. Now that's ready to go, alright, to be cut. If I just bring this forward, this one was made by Crafter's Companion, and it's called an e-bosser. I don't think they make this anymore. They make one called a Gemini one, but you need to get the very best. There's several different versions of the Gemini one. You need to get the very best one that will allow you to take different boards of thicknesses so that you can use Thinlit, Sizzix, ACOquilt Go, or there's other brand names that you can buy that are actual dies for cutting card and material and balsa wood and plastic, and like very slim metals, things like that you can do on this sort of thing. So you can also, with the Sizzix and the ACOquilt, you can get the hand crank ones. They're just as good, but I prefer to use the electric ones. So, oops, I'm just going to push that through here, and then it'll take it itself, and then it comes out the back. You can see it coming out the back now. And I'll just move my embosser out the way so that you can see what I'm showing you now. So now I kind of twist a little bit to get the top off, and then I should be able to hold the centre of the apple core down. Yeah, it might get snagged a few little places, okay, but there now are perfectly cut, all to the exact same size, are my apple cores. Alright, now that is the quickest, easiest way of cutting out these shapes. I am going to put up on the website the template of one of these in real size, which you can then copy a PDF and cut it out, and you can stick it to plastic, like you could use, there is something like template plastics that you could then make a plastic template out of it, or you could do it in cardboard, some thick card, and make yourself a template, and then you would have to draw around it and cut it by hand. Alright, if that's the only way that you can, but you can do it that way round. having made your shapes, okay, the next thing is we need to pin them together. And on the pre-cut, on the die cut ones, as you can see, you've got little markers to give you the middle. If you've made them by hand, then you will need to fold them over and crease them that way and that way to give you that centre point, so that you can then match your centres together. Okay, so right sides together, I'm matching my marker, and I'm gonna pop a pin in there. Alright, then the next thing, I'm going to go to the edge and I'm going to line that up as best as I can and hold it firmly with my thumb while I put a pin in on the side. Oh, okay, still holding it, and I'm going to cross pin that upwards. Okay, so now you can see my corners matching, and this side pin is to stop it from splaying out. If I show you on this side, if I just put a pin in the top, okay, see how it will splay. So to make sure that we're working nicely together, I'm just going to put a pin in on the side as well. Now that's enough pins for me. As you can see, we have got a curve to work with here. So now I need to take you to the machine and show you how to work that curve under your needle. Alright. So what's the setup? Okay, white bobbin I'm using Superior Threads bottom line and Superior Threads white on the top, normal weight. Got my pins here, and I've got my awl. This is by Clover, but it's a very pointy end, helps you. I've got a 1/4 inch foot on, and I am 2.0 in stitch length. The smaller the stitch length, the easier the curve, bearing in mind the harder it is to rip out, but yeah. So get it under your needle, get it started. So now we can take out one pin, the side pin, because that's started. Okay, and now with my awl I have to make sure that I am not getting any tucks or bits and bobs underneath the actual sewing area. When I come to a pin, I'm taking it out and I'm checking where my underneath fabric is, because it has to match my top fabric. Okay, you've got to try and keep the two together. As I come round that curve to the centre, as I said, go slowly. Now I am just readjusting that fabric underneath, bringing it back over the top and trying to keep this fabric at the same height as the fabric below, and it is smooth under my needle. At the same time, keep that 1/4 inch, you know, the edge of my foot, making sure I got these corners matched up, just pulling a little bit, and yet again going round slowly, taking out the pin, and now I continue to the edge. Okay, so I take the other pin out. So can you see, I hope, how I've gone round there as best as I can. All right, ooh, look, even there. I got a little bit of a pull, and I think I managed to pull that out. That little, looked like a little tucker. I pulled that out, okay. Don't worry about it, I can work with that. Now, I always suggest that you iron down towards the top of the apple core. This is like I would call these the sides of the apple core, or the bites of the apple core, and this is the top of the apple core, yeah, or bottom, whatever, which way. And I always think that the seam should always come down, and if you do that on every single one, when you flip them over and twist them round to all fit in fours, they will be opposite seams. So now, with the iron, I'm just going to press that from the one side. Oh, it's not my iron's not warm to do it over here. Alright, so there we are. So that's one lot made, as if by magic, when I made earlier, because having made two, now I have to fit these two together to make a bigger block. And I like to do them in fours, okay? And naturally, me being me, the first thing I want to do is try, although I will have to adjust it later, is try and match my seam best I can for a moment. And then, as we did before, I'm going to match my middle piece. Again, as I said, if you don't have these notches, then you need to fold every piece in half twice to make up the line that you match in the middles. And again, on the edge, pin it on the edge, and pin it on the top, okay? And then I'm going to do the same with the other side. So I'm going to match the middle, and I do try and work in blocks of 4, so I've never got too long a seam so I have to match up. I can just keep adding the block of 4 to a block of 4. Okay. And then what I do, again, you know, we're in the same position as we were last time. So get your awl to help you. All right. Bring up it as best you can. And again, starting on the one side, pull your pins out of the way when you can. Try and keep your material nicely underneath, using your awl to make sure your material is matching. Mine is not, for one reason or another. So this is not easy, so you are going to have to work slowly with it, and if you feel, for example, that's not working for me, so I'm taking that out. If you feel that you're losing your grip on it, stop it, readjust it. You know, these are curves we are sewing. It's not easy, alright? And I am just matching back up my centre ones and continuing around. I've got more or less to my centre, and then I'm bringing up straightening out, bringing up there, so I can see I've got my, and I haven't got anything bunching up to make I'm going to take that pin out because it's getting on my nerves, and I am going to bring it round, and as I get to where I want it to go, I am then going to match my seam with a bit of a tug. Now when I get on my seam, again, I got to try and bring these fabrics together. Alright. And continue around my curve till I get to my next bit. I'm manipulating the fabric all the time. Okay. Take that pin out. I follow along, keeping these top bits together as best I can. So I get right to the end, take the pin out of the way. Again, I want to just bring that together a bit better there. And sew off the edge. Now, take that last couple of pins out and open it up, alright? And I'm just going to go and give that a press. Right. Okay, so there's the 4, which I hope you can see now. That's the 4. And obviously one of the things that I always look for is I got a really nice cross, okay? I know I've got a teeny pucker there, teeny pucker. But see that nice cross in the centre. Now if I can get all my apple cores to cross like that, and they all look quite smooth around, I'll be a happy bunny. That's what we are aiming for, all right? So I just will continue now. I've got a few more 4s that I've already done. So obviously once I've got a 4, I will be joining the next 4 to the next 4, yeah? Or this 4 to that 4, yeah? You know, I will then be using those 4s to make up the widths. I think mine is going to be 2 4s across, and then I think it's going to be about 5 or 6 squares down. I'm not sure yet because I haven't measured my table up properly, but so that's how we do apple core. And obviously once I finish making the table runner, I'll show you, finish making the table runner cloth top, I'll show you the next stage.